Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Maximizing Your Potential Talk Show. I'm your host, Gertrude J. Chapman, and how is everybody doing on this beautiful Wednesday morning? And I'm going to get right into it today because I've been talking about a time of restoration. A time of restoration. Do you know that it's time for you to be restored? Restored in your mind, restored in your heart. Wherever you may feel a brokenness, wherever you may be disconnected, this is your time to be restored. And when I was doing a study, I found out that 79% of women suffer from a general form of low self confidence and low self esteem. And a part of that can be attributed to, and the topic today, what I'm going to talk about is overcoming grief. This is part 3 of Time of Restoration, overcoming grief. And, this is something that I don't take lightly because this is something that, happened to me not, too long ago. As a matter of fact, it was only last year. And I found myself in a situation of, losing my husband over, we had been married over, well, not over 40 years. It was 40 years. Okay. We couldn't even celebrate our anniversary because he was in the hospital. And, it was a suddenly that happened in my life. So I understand, that grief process. I understood that. And, you know, sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you say, Lord, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And when this occurred, uh, it was like at my weakest moment, at my weakest moment. And I found myself in this suddenly. Okay, here it goes. Here's a suddenly. Now, Lord, what am I going to do? And I just put something over my social media channel this morning because I wanted to bring encouragement to you. Okay, bring you some encouragement. And I said, you don't know what you have inside of you until it stands up when you can't. And I'm going to say that again. You don't know what you have inside of you until it stands up when you can't. And it stood up, okay? That joy, that strength, okay, stood up. Not the joy that, my husband was dead or anything of that nature, but to have that peace, to have that strength. And we all know that the joy of the Lord is our strength, okay? But that strength stood up when I couldn't. When I was saying to myself, oh, what am I going to do now? Because, we had never been separated in all of those 40 years. And now this was a finality, okay? And now I was left without him. And some of you, that may resonate with some of you, okay, out there. And I want to let you know that this is your time of restoration because this could be something that will truly affect your self-confidence and self-esteem, because heartbreak is real. Heartbreak is something that goes deep down inside of you that can affect you for a long time, for the rest of your life, if you allow it to. There's also depression, okay? You could become in a depressed state. And that's something that I did not allow to happen in my life. Even when I didn't want to get up, I got up, I showered, I went in the den, and I sat among my family, I sat among my friends. Even if I didn't talk to them, I just sat there, okay? Because I had to move myself out of a situation in order to move forward in my life. And this is something, sometimes people get stuck in, situations, and they allow that situation to overcome them. And, it's not your fault, but I just want to let you know that there is hope. There is hope. And that happened June of last year, okay? And July, I was back doing my live streams. And I'm just talking about me. And I know everybody's different, but I knew what I had to do in order to move myself forward, in order to not, stay stuck in a place. Time of restoration, overcoming grief. Grief could also bring unhappiness. Grief could also bring a loneliness where you feel all alone. Even if you're in the midst of a whole room full of people, you could feel alone. You could even begin to worry, how you're going to make it, how you're going to overcome a situation. Well, I want to let you know there is help. There is hope for you to overcome these things. So it won't affect you going forward in life, because there are things that you need to get done in your life. There's things, you have dreams, you have goals, you have, things that are lying dormant inside of you. And you might not know how to move forward. But I want to let you know how you can live in joy. You can live in joy. You can live in peace. Not saying that you won't miss your loved one, but you can have that joy inside of you that will propel you forward to maximize your potential. And if this is something that's resonating with you, and you feel your heart right now just beating fast, go to the information that's scrolling at the bottom of your screen, talking about building your self-esteem and self-confidence. Because, ladies, I'm going to tell you, you are vital. You are important. There's something inside of you that could bring restoration in your life if you just allow it to. So go to that information that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, maximizingyourpotential.teachable.com. And that is something that could show you that you can make it, that there is hope for you, and that, it's not time to throw in the towel, but you could be restored in this season. So that's all I had to share with you today. And I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with me today on this segment of Maximizing Your Potential. And I'm your host, Gertrude J. Chapman. And I want you to remember this, that this is your time, this is your season, this is your turning point. So have a great rest of your day.